250 games, 5 goals, and the storybook iconic moment to cap it off. Eddie, good morning to you, mate.
Good morning, guys.
Ed, congratulations on a remarkable 250th. It was a great win by the team, and a remarkable individual effort to kick 5 goals in your 250th. You must have been pretty stoked with the sporting side of the contest, at least.
Yeah, it was. It was a fantastic game. You know, no matter who you supported, Port or Crows, it was a great game to watch. And you know, they came hard at us. We got a little bit of a gap, and then they came again. And yeah, we just had to go back to our way and you know, get the fundamentals right. And yeah, it was a pretty close game in the end.
Yeah, no, it was a real nail biter. And look, we said the other day, Ed, on Monday, with everything else that happened, that nothing should ever be allowed or will be allowed to overshadow what you actually did on the park. It was just a brilliant bit of sportsmanship, but obviously the other big story was the incident in the final minutes of the game. How have the last few days been for you, mate?
Yeah, it's been pretty hectic. You know, dodging cameras at the club and all that. Yeah, so I didn't know anything at that time. Didn't know anything happened. So I was on the way home, and I got a phone call, and they said, someone's thrown an object at you. And then I didn't think much of it until you know, all the footage came out and what happened and what's been said, and yeah, then it just blew up from then.
Yeah. So how do you think it's been handled? I mean, the process that Port put in place, the handling of it by Adelaide. Have you been comfortable with the way it's all gone?
Yeah, I think Port's been fantastic. You know, they were on the front foot. They went out and they found the girl, and you know, they spoke to her, and Paulie Vandenbergs came out too, and he runs the program at Port Adelaide, the Indigenous programs there, and you know, they've got one of the best Indigenous programs in the AFL, if not the best program in the AFL, and they spoke to her and offered her cultural awareness training, and you know, the 7 Indigenous boys there had offered to speak to her and tell her how you know, it affected them as well. You know, and it's great. You know, she came out and she apologised. You know, I don't hold grudges. You know, I forgive her for what she's done, and I think everyone else should as well. You know, she's seeking help, and you know, it's never too late to learn.
Yeah,
I guess so.
I reckon that's been one of the most remarkable things about it, is the generosity that you have shown and that other Indigenous players have shown. Because a lot of people were saying from the get-go, life ban, but you know, you made the point that, well, what's that going to achieve? This
is all about education. Like I said, it's never too late to learn. And you know, why though, I think of it, no one's born racist. You know, no one's born this, so it's been, you know, grained in her somewhere down the track, or she haven't learnt about it. So, like I said, you know, Chad's come out and said it's just all about education.
Yeah.
Well, what was your reaction, Ed? If so many people reacted with anger, we've spent a good deal of the last segment talking about how Jay Weatherall tweeted immediately afterwards, and it was an angry reaction. And that was how so many of our listeners, and so much how we reacted to it. So you heard from a phone call, you're driving home. What's your reaction? What was your instant emotion?
I was still pumped about the game.
Yeah.
I mean, we've won, and you know, it was my 250th game, and I've played all right, because
that's an understatement.
Every milestone game that I had, we've lost. And I've only won once against GWS, and I've played shocking in all of them. So I was just pumped that I played all right in my 250th. So it didn't really hit me till the next day, when, you know, or that night, or what was it, Monday morning about 2 o'clock, because I was still up, and it was still going crazy at that point. And everyone's ringing me from the club and said, "Don't come down to recovery. You know, there's going to be cameras there." And and then the next day, it just, from then onward, it was massive. So yeah.
Did it make you angry at any point, or did it just make you sad?
I was just disappointed, you know, because of it's still out there and it's still in our game. So, and like I said before, it just needs to be educated. And a life ban, I don't think she should get a life ban. You know, she should come back and enjoy the footy. You know, everyone enjoys their footy. You just got to, you know, be careful what you do or what you say at the footy. You can't do that. You can't throw stuff on the field. You can't say that towards players. So,
a lot was said about things that people heard being said over the fence. Now, we never hear that. We wouldn't have a frame of reference, don't know what you hear. Should we be surprised that there's that people that think this way? Do you ever hear anything like that? Does it stand out? Was it something that you've never heard or had suggested before?
I've never heard that, you know, since the Goodsies incidents about all that stuff. So yeah, like I said, there's probably just a few out there because most of the guys who reported it in were Port supporters as well. So telling her that's not tolerated at our club. So I guess we just got to stamp it out of the game. And I guess the AFL is a perfect platform for stamping out racism in the game. So yeah.
It's funny when you think about, Port wouldn't have a flag. They wouldn't have won in 2004 without Pickett, Burgoyne, Wanganeen. Like, how can you support that club and still have such weird views about Indigenous players?
See, I don't know. I don't know what goes through everyone's head. And like I said, no one's born racist. And it's just a few out there. So, and it's all got to come down to they have to be educated. So, and like I said, she's seeking help. She's going to do this cultural awareness program with Paulie Vandenberg and. I just hope that everyone out there that don't just let it be in peace now. I guess go on in life with peace because I know she's got a lot of abusing messages on social media and all that. So, like I said, I've forgiven her, and so should all of you.
Yeah, great advice. So how do you just dust yourself off now and just put it all behind you? Do you feel like you can? Do you feel like you're at that point yet?
Yeah, well, like I said, I've got Friday night against West Coast, so you're going to have that. You can't go into the game thinking about all this other stuff. So
yeah, exactly.
You got to find other ways to put that aside and play footy and enjoy footy and have fun.
Let's talk footy then, and let's talk about that moment. I said that to Pembo on Monday. It was the iconic moment the Milestone game really deserved. It was the ceiling goal. It was a classic Eddie Betts goal from the boundary. Everything about it. There's a great American sports writer once said that we love the best athletes because it's a bit like they let us in on what's about to happen. And you kind of knew in that moment, in that game, you were going to deliver a moment like that. Although, when the ball left the boot, was that theatre, you watching it go through and look like you weren't sure, or were you not sure whether it had snuck in?
Nah. I didn't know. I thought it hit the post, and I was just waiting for confirmation from the umpire. But I couldn't see the umpire because he was like right behind the goal post, and all I could see the two little fingers come up like that. And so then I was like, oh yeah, sweet. And it was just it was a great feeling that it went through, and from then on we knew that we had to win. It
was like watching people taking numbers who you were standing on the night. I think you had 4 different opponents, didn't you, Ed?
Yeah, well, I think I had Cracker, then Pittard, and then...
You got to meet the whole Port Adelaide team.
And then the young DBJ. So, like I said beforehand, or last week, I go out there just to have fun and play footy. It doesn't matter who I match up on. If it's tall or small, I've just got to figure out ways to beat them. And, yeah, I guess that's what I've done.
Do you reckon Port, in a way, did Adelaide a favour by giving us such a really hard and intense contest? Because watching it felt like a final.
It was.
And we'd had 3 easy games in a row, but this was a real wake up call.
It was a real finals atmosphere. The contest was fierce. It was preparing us for finals footy, and it was great. So yeah, well, like you said, you have to thank Port for that.
Good on him.
What do you make of the Rory Sloane incident?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Rory's the nicest player going around. He doesn't go out there to try.
I think you're the nicest player going around. I think
Rory's.
Then it's Rory.
Rory doesn't go out there to hit people. He's the fairest player that's going around. I just don't know how it works, to be honest. He's never been reported ever. So yeah, I don't know. 2 weeks down the line, it's just like I said, I just don't know how it works. I actually got 5 weeks down to 3. And I haven't been reported. That was like a few years back in 2012 where someone ran into my shoulder. So I don't want to say it like that.
Just one of those things.
But he broke his jaw, so then I felt bad. So I got 5 weeks. But I don't know how it works, but I think Rory's he's getting on with it, and hopefully he'll be ready to go in a couple of weeks.
Does anyone know just on that? Sorry, Dave. Does anyone know how it works? And I mean that in a serious sense because we talk about it and don't get it. Like when you're at the club after the game, is anyone saying amongst you guys, are you going, I think he might get one, or I don't know, or it shouldn't be, or?
I don't know how it works because on the game, like Brett Ebert on the pocket where he ran into my shoulder and I got that free kick because he put the ball over the line.
Yeah, that's
right. I said to the umpire after that, I said, "Will I get reported because Brett Ebert ran into my shoulder and he twisted and he looked a bit dazed."
Yeah,
would I be in trouble for that? And he goes, I'd have to have a look, Ed. I don't know.
Really? So you thought you might have been done?
I thought I might have been done because I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
And I was a bit spooked about it. I was like, oh, hopefully they won't look at that.
So you
Isn't
thought
that
you just
bizarre?
start negotiating with the umpire?
Yeah,
while
on the
game
field,
was
so-
still going?
But yeah, all at the club, when we found out, the boys were in disbelief walking around. They were shocked as me, thinking, how can he get 2 weeks? Yeah, so we just don't know how it works, to be honest.
Have you heard from your mate Dangerfield about Rory being rubbed out of Brownlow contention?
Danger's like popping them little party things like. he's written his speech already. No. I think that would have came a draw. Two best mates come a draw in a Brownlow. How about that?
So West Coast Friday going to be massive because they've had picked
Three
up
great wins.
Yeah, but no Nick Nat obviously. So they go in like us, I guess, a bit wobbly
Yeah.
in terms of their lineup. It's going to be a huge game.
Firstly, it's pretty sad to what happened to Nick Nat. You don't wish anything on any player,
No.
but to see Nick Nat go down like that, 12 months.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad. Hopefully he can have a good road to recovery and get back out.
Yeah,
But it's going to be a great game because they beat GWS up there, then they beat Hawthorn back at home. So
yeah.
it's going to be full on. So it's going to be another finals atmosphere's game. So we have to come prepared. And like I said, if we get a good start and our crowd gets involved, we're going to be hard to beat.
Have you lent any thought to the fact, or has it been mentioned this week, that you're actually off the following week? Everyone's off.
Yeah,
It's the bye
so
round afterwards.
it's a
Have you
bye
talked
round.
about that?
Not really. We're just speaking about this week. We've got to
Yep.
focus on this week, and there's a lot riding on this week because if you look at it, if we lose and GWS win against North Melbourne, they go into the top four and we drop
Yeah.
out. So it's a lot riding on this game. It's a top 4 spot, potentially a top 2 spot on the ladder. So we've just got to go in and play the way that we want to play. They're a strong side, and like you said, they got their confidence up. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can go out and get the job done.